Hey everybody, it's Lynn from A Bit of Birdsong, and I wanted to show you the journal that I made from the fun pack yesterday. When these fun packs go out, and I've said that before, when I list these and send them, you do not have to use everything in it all at one time. Sometimes I do that to challenge myself, just to put unexpected things together. I also do it because I want to show how you can use things. There were so many beads in that little container. So the cords here are covered in beads and the little wooden charms and then the butterfly. I used the sample in mine. I traced around it on one of the library cards and then traced inside the hole so I could see exactly where to punch, glued this down, and then drew one of the little faces on it. And I just safety pinned that to the front. The beads that would not fit on this hemp cord, I used some of the thread that was in the package, and I still may do something with, I have 4 spools I haven't used yet. I used that to sew the beads that had the smaller openings onto the front. And then there, of course, is the blue and white fabric with the little image on it. So I used my envelope, the one that everything was packaged in. I stained it, I distressed it pretty heavily with coffee stain. And then I sewed this piece of fabric to the front, and on the inside I sewed the 2 upholstery samples that had the holes cut in them. So one is on this side and then the other one I cut down. You can see it underneath here. And then I sewed a piece of the lace trim to make a pocket. What do we have back here? I sewed a piece of that white fabric with some of the beautiful fabric from Jennifer on top to make a pocket over here. And then I just used a kilt pin from my stash to pin in this little pouch that things had been stored in. There's the key. Here's one of the spools of thread, which I went ahead and put some glue around it so that it's not going to come loose. I just think it's a fun charm for this. But then flipping through, of course, once again, we have room for something in here. You could make a little notebook to go in there. I just love to go through and use everything. The papers that were in here were all folded to make pages. I didn't do anything with this card. I did use some of the library cards to make pockets, and I used every single sticker in here. Then I went back and used a variety of my the Ranger mica stains, the Tim Holtz stains, and stencils to just get some pretty color all over the pages. And I used a magazine that I keep next to the desk to tear images out of. Like, I really love this. That came from a Bella Grace, is that what it's called? My mind is just blank right now. Beautiful magazines by Stampington. But that's what that is. And then I just wrote over the top of it. It's a writing that's not really a writing. Somebody mentioned that in a comment recently, and I think a recent issue of art journaling had this writing in it. I can never think of what the writing's called. I can see it. It starts with an A. Ecemic? It's something. So anyway, it's always fun to just scribble. You know, when I do that kind of scribbling, I'm thinking of words, and sometimes it's things that I would not say out loud, but I can just scribble them so that nobody can read them, and it's like it gets it out of my system. But I think not this last issue of art journaling, but the one before that, I think it had some writing in it that you couldn't, maybe it was backwards or just scribbling or whatever. I love to sit down and put quotes all throughout the journals. Now this playing card is heavily distressed on this side. I like to take a sanding block and sand off some of the vinyl or whatever, that vinyl look, that shiny look, and then I distressed it with coffee stain. So, and this is I just love this image with the turtles. So I just kind of showcased that. That's not a pocket, it's just there so I can look at it. There's one of the little girl drawings. The mind is everything, what you think you become. So I just love quotes like that. I think they're so encouraging. And then going through, you can just see, so the little card, or the little tag that had the stamp on it, I cut around the stamp, distressed the edge, and then just glued that in. There's a piece of netting under the playing card that had the planes on it. That is heavily distressed and then painted with the coffee. And again, just I did stenciling throughout. There's part of the fabric that I distressed with some of the spray stain and also a little bit of the coffee stain. Look at this quote, meow, and that's Mars. Mars was sitting next to me while I was working on some of the quotes inside. There's the Polaroid. Yeah, I just love this. It's so eclectic. There is no rhyme or reason. This is one of those books that's just fun to look at. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And then you can see part of the little negative that came out of the slide. I used that to cut out a hat shape for her. And again, some of these images were from Bella Grace. Such a beautiful magazine. Just did some mark making. So I was recently given this, thank you so much, Jennifer. I really appreciate it. It cuts little tabs out, and I'm so thrilled to have this. And you can see I cut tabs out of the library cards and put those throughout. And it's fun just to cut the words out of magazines. I think this might be the only thing that's not really distressed. And I probably will come back and do that. And I think we're also going to just do that so that we're able to put something in there. I love this. So the word whimsy was in the magazine. And I have a stencil that's a butterfly. So I love how drops ended up everywhere, and it's not really clear. I think I sprayed the stencil and it came out pretty good, but not that great. So when it had almost dried, I went ahead and painted the whole page. So it pulled part of the color away, but left a lot of it there. So you can still get the shape of the butterfly, but it's definitely not perfect. And then I used part of one of the library, the card catalog cards, to make a pocket for the little tag. And I can use that for journaling. That side could be distressed or painted. I could do something here. There's still room to work in here, but I did do a lot in this one. So yeah, this one's a lot of fun. Oh, and I did some little drawings and put those behind the slides. And there's the negative that was in there, the large one. You can see how it looks on just a plain background, a light colored background. There's another pocket, and this little tag is safety pinned to the top of this large envelope. So I did include some junk mail in mine as well. And there's the medical slide. I did end up putting just an eyeball eye behind that. And then, oh look, I love this. So because we used some of the pages from the, what is it, Rubber Stamp Madness or something like that, I was able to do one of the blackout poems, or just isolate some words is basically what this is. Cards, illustrations, 8.5 by 11 paper, scissors, a brightly colored paper, pen, pencil, envelope, shape and color, creativity, treasure trove. So I'm calling this journal the Treasure Trove. And it's because that page came from a stamping magazine. It was all about creativity. So that turned out nicely. And what did we just completely skip over? I know there's one more page that's got one of the slides with a little face inside of it. I don't remember seeing it or noticing this time. I'm starting to hear thunder, so I'm going to go in soon. Where did that go? Where did that go? There it is. Another little face. That's so fun to do with those. So anyway, that's that journal. And if you're interested in this journal, it is listed in my Ko-fi shop. I'm tempted to keep everything I make. I want everything. I want to keep all of them. I don't want to sell them, but I can't keep everything. And I think it's nice to share the joy. So if you're interested in this, it's in the Ko-fi shop. Thank you so much for watching. I will be back really soon, and bye for now.